Going? Good to see everyone. Think might take a few minutes to get started here and get people in. This is the second channel just because I wanted to have a smaller group today than than if we were on the main channel. Sometimes it's hard to even keep track of everything on the main channel, keep track of all the comments and stuff. So I want to go through some questions, give you my general thoughts on the market, because right now I know a lot of people are worried. A lot of people have jumped in since last March and have never invested through this or anything. So I understand it can be pretty worrisome when you see the markets go red for the first time for a significant amount of time. I'm just looking at my portfolios, and some of them are down a decent amount right now. So I understand your feeling. Now, I just want to go through, first of all, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate that. Again, this is the second channel. If you guys want to subscribe to it, you can. I have a video coming out in a little while on that SPAC. I talked about in the Patreon. If you guys are in the Patreon, I know some people aren't in the Patreon, but I talked about it this morning, and I'll get to COUV in a second. But I talked about the SPAC. It's a company that ARK Invest just bought. I'm just pulling it up here on my phone. And the ticker is AONE. It's merging with another company that is in the 3D printing space. And I'm doing a video on it. It will be up right after we finish here on the live stream. I'll put it up on my main channel in a couple minutes. I just have to finish, typing the little description and stuff. But it's pretty interesting. It has 20 times the revenue of NNDM, and it's about the same cost right now, even with it going up. It is a SPAC, and it went up about 42% since the $10 range, because it's at $1, or it's at $14.30 now. So it's gone up a decent amount over the last couple of days. Now, one other thing that I picked up and I just told the Patreon about was GXU. This is Gores Holding 8. This is another company that is coming from, and it's GIIXU. It's another company that's coming from Gores. So this guy has had a lot of SPACs, so he just keeps on pumping them out. I believe they acquired Hostess or helped with Hostess in some way a couple of years ago. This is before I was really into investing. I think it was like 2016 or something like that. And then they've also helped Luminar and also helped Matterport go public recently too. And then they also were in UMW, or I forgot the ticker symbol, but another one that a lot of people know about too. So they've been in all those. I picked up GXU. It's the ticker before it splits between the warrants and the shares. So this is one of my first times with warrants. I invested in warrants one other time recently, but they give 1/8 of a warrant and the unit. So they haven't merged or announced a merger or even done anything like that. They just are raising money now, or they just raised the money or whatever. They're just coming to the market today is what I'm trying to say. So I can't give a price target or anything like that. Who knows? It could be something that doesn't move for a while, but at the current price, I got it at $10.50. Seems like a pretty good entry point. Now I want to get to some questions because I know there's a lot going on. So let me just pull these up. And I apologize. I'm on StreamYard, so sometimes it gives me like 10 comments at a time. The market's very creepy right now. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So if you guys are wondering kind of what's happening, I think this is the main reason. This is what a lot of people are saying too. The 10-year treasury yield has gone up. That means that a lot of people are thinking, and I'm not an economist, but a lot of people are thinking that interest rates might be pulled up eventually too, to combat inflation. So a lot of people are worried that interest rates are going to go up. It's going to hurt the stock market. I don't think that's very likely to happen. The Fed has kept on saying that they want to keep rates low for a while. And I could be wrong. I could be misinterpreting, but that's what I'm hearing from everyone else too. And that makes sense to me. I think a lot of people are just scared too because there's some red. There's been so much green. Some people are selling out right away because they want to lock in profits, or they've been investing in really risky stocks. I have people that reach out to me that are in like 5 penny stocks, and they're all under $1 or something. So some people are just trying to get out while they can. Worth the chances the next week will also be red? That's a good question. I mean, that's what everyone wants to know, right? If everyone knew that, then they would be investing or pulling their money out. Or not everyone, but some people would be if they knew. But it's hard to tell. I think this was a healthy correction, and I think it's something we needed, because when was the last time we had this? September? I think September was the last time we had a dip like this, and that's 6 months ago almost now. And we've just seen green and green and green. We've seen stocks go up 100, 200%. So I think it's something that we kind of needed. Now, I explained this in my video last night. I'm not really looking to put more money into some of these riskier plays right now. And I realize long term, some of the risky plays could be some of the best options. But in this market environment, I don't really want to double down on some of my penny stock positions just because they are riskier in nature anyways. So I'm not buying any more of those. I mean, maybe if BNGO or SENS gets close to my cost basis, I would consider it. But I already have a decent amount in those too. So I'm not really looking to increase risk in this market environment. Adkin says COUV at 20 cents. Are you holding or selling it? So I'm holding it now. Part of that's because I have to. Fidelity, I called them today. They told me that they aren't allowing it to be traded. Now, either way, I would probably be holding because it's so inexpensive now compared to what it was. I don't think it's worth selling off now. I actually talked to the Carbon Ion CEO a couple weeks ago, right before this happened. Like literally the day before, I was talking with him about doing an interview with him or something. And this is not the SPAC. This is not COUV. It's not Corporate Universe, but it's the company that they're going to merge with, or that they want to merge with. And he seemed like he had no idea, because like we were talking back and forth and he was like, yeah, we can do it in like 2 days. And then all of a sudden all this blew up, and that was pretty much done. I mean, I didn't really feel like it was relevant to talk with him at the time because it was going to be 10 days before they traded. And then it came out that they're going to merge with them. I think they're still going to merge with them anyways. So I've heard a little bit from the inside that they think that it's BS and that the SEC is trying to get at them somehow. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm holding on to it. That's why I always like diversification. I mean, it sucks. I've never had this happen before where a company is investigated by the SEC and gets taken down. That's not something that happens all that often, I don't think. So I hate it, but that's why I invest a certain amount, and I'm comfortable with knowing that I could lose some of my position in some of these penny stocks. I mean, I have probably 6 or 7 penny stocks now. So I'm trying to diversify even across the penny stocks, but I realize they are much riskier. Penny stocks are only 4 or 5% of my portfolio overall. Might be a little bit higher now that BNGO has gone up so much, but BNGO isn't technically a penny stock either. GTT is at all-time lows. Sorry, it just pulled away. But GTT at an all-time low with increased volume might be a good play. Yeah, I haven't looked at that one. Did I check ATNF? I don't remember the ticker off the top of my head. I'm pulling it up now. I look up a lot of these and then I just stop because like there are just too many of them. Yeah, so 83 million. I looked into it, but I don't remember what exactly they do off the top of my head. Thoughts on FRX? I have that one on my list, my watch list, but I've not done anything with it yet. I'm not buying it yet. What are my thoughts on PLTR after the large decrease? So I almost added more today. I want to keep some cash though. I mean, I have a cash position in my accounts, but then I also have cash outside them. Like I'm saving for a house right now, and I have to pay for it in cash because of me going full-time on YouTube. I can't get a mortgage because they won't loan to someone that doesn't have a long enough work history. So I have a lot of cash, like more than my portfolio size, because I have to pay for a house. So if something comes up that's really attractive, I might throw in a good amount of money because I have it there. But I'm not trying to do that. I have the money that's on the sideline from my actual portfolios, where I trimmed positions the last week and I think the week before. And yeah, if Palantir gets much lower, I'm going to have to add more because it's so attractive right now. I mean, I added at 29, I want to say, and I thought it was a good value then. Very disappointed in price action of Pace and FGNA SPACs. Yeah, Pace has been difficult. So I've been kind of swing trading Pace. If you guys have been in the Patreon, you kind of know, like, I'll buy it when it's low and then I'll sell it when it's high. I've been considering it recently because it's at like 1030 or something, then just selling it when it hits 11 because it seems to fluctuate right in there. But I would rather have the cash available, I think, at this point for some other opportunities like GIXU. AMC, why are they saying gamma squeeze? So I don't know the phrase of gamma squeeze. What's a gamma squeeze? It takes things one step further. Okay, it's just like a mega squeeze. So with AMC, with GME, there are a couple things going on. And I've heard some of it because it all happened like in the last day. So Charlie Munger talked about how, and I'm paraphrasing here because I didn't actually hear him talk about it, but I heard about it, that people, retail investors, shouldn't be able to push these stocks up like this, that they shouldn't be able to, just YOLO money into it and force it up. So that pissed off a lot of people, as I understand. Also, people were just getting back in AMC, I think, because of, so AMC and GME both have different catalysts here, but AMC is a recovery play, right? So a lot of people have been getting into more recovery plays over the last week because it looks like, the pandemic might be winding down. So a lot of people are getting into those. That's something that I kind of see a point to be made in. And then I think more people just jumped on top of it. I haven't looked at the short interest recently. And then GME replaced, I believe it's their CEO or CFO, something like that. Let's pull it up. They replaced someone on their management team because they just weren't getting with the times. Yeah, CFO. They want to transform it into something that's a little bit more e-commercey, and they didn't think that he was doing a good enough job of that. So that's what kind of happened there. I swear, I'm at the next house, or the house that I get, I'm gonna have to have multiple screens so that way I can like screen record and you guys can see what's on my screen, and then I can pop back in and look at the chat too on another screen. I'm gonna have to have that because that would be nice. Meet Kevin has the best setup for that kind of stuff, and I think I should get something like that. Okay. Am I buying A1? I'm just gonna call it A1. That's easier. I'm not at this point. I haven't really gotten into the 3D space. I think it's a good space. I just bought a manufacturing stock yesterday, actually, but that's the one that I think I did the video on yesterday that I bought. But yeah, I haven't gotten into that one yet. I'm considering it, but with a lot of these SPACs, they seem to be flowing up to $14, $15 on announcement, then coming back down to maybe 12-ish or so, 12, 13. So I might wait for it. I mean, right now, I'm just cautious of a lot of things. And the tough part is you make the most money on the dip. That I made a lot of money last year on the dip, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did too. But we haven't had really SPACs in a dip like this. Like, most are probably going to be fine, I would say. And this is just my personal opinion. But last year in March, we didn't have SPACs out there. We didn't have SPACs in the limelight. So I don't know how the market's going to react to them. I'm assuming it's like most things, it's going to blow over. They're going to keep on doing well. But, we've seen a lot of irrational movements in SPACs where they just double real quick or triple or quadruple, and then they come back down a little bit. I mean, CCIV was up at $60 before they even announced that they were going to merge with someone. So I'm just cautious about some of these. I mean, it's very different with A1, especially because of the industry that they're in and the fact that they looks like they're much more attractive than something like NNDM. NNDM does have a lot of money though, which kind of puts them in a different realm. Like, some people are thinking about them a little bit differently because they could acquire someone, right? They could acquire some kind of business that could have synergistic relations with them. And that might be something that really helps them down the line. But they just have a lot of revenue compared to their peers right now. And they already have government contracts too. And like I think it's Frito-Lay is one of their clients too. And just some other companies like that. So they're already working with some big companies. Edgar says, are you looking at any altcoins or just sticking to the big players? I've had some people reach out to me about some altcoins. I really haven't done much research into altcoins at this point. I'm cautious of it just because it seems really risky. I realize that there's a lot of potential there too. But I'm just not well versed enough in the crypto market to really understand all the different altcoins. And it's almost like, I mean, it is its own market in and of itself. So it would be a big undertaking. But right now I'm just sticking to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some stablecoin too, just to get that high interest rate. I posted a video earlier this week and I was surprised. I wasn't surprised more people didn't watch it, I guess, because it wasn't on an individual stock. But I think it's really important. I don't know if this is a long-term play, but the fact that you can reduce sequence of return risk. So I know a lot of people in here are more individual stock investors, but I was really big into the financial independence, retire early movement before all this. And I was looking at, the 4% rule, the sequence of return risk, like different things to help you retire faster and become financially independent faster, and getting a guaranteed yield, even if there is some risk, like even if there's a 0.0001 risk that BlockFi goes down or someone hacks in there or something like that. If you just say, okay, there's an 8.6% yield and it's guaranteed until they lower it, at least, it reduces it increases the amount that you can take out in retirement by a significant amount. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I don't think too many people know about altcoins. Like I talk to people in the stock market all the time, obviously. A lot of people haven't even heard about, not cryptocurrencies, stable coins. A lot of people haven't heard about stable coins, which I find really interesting. Is it safe to put money in NIO, Tesla, and Switchback right now? So I'm going to pull those up here. I haven't looked at what their prices are. Yeah, man, Teladoc is down about 9%. Man, that's pretty interesting because I like them a lot. Okay, let me pull them up. I'll actually pull them up on screen here with you guys. See if I can do this here. If I can remember how to do it. Share screen. Okay, let's pull them up. Okay, I think you guys should be able to see my screen now. Yep. Okay, sweet. So let's pull these up. So I don't have these very well organized, but let's take a look at some of the ones that are down the most. So Butterfly Network's down, Teladoc's down, BNGO's down. Pretty much the whole market turned negative except for MP Materials, Churchill, and AMC. So Switchback is sitting around 35. I really like Switchback. I've been looking at it. If you're looking long term, I still think this is a good play. I don't remember the valuation off the top of my head. I think it's around an $8 billion valuation at this current price. And I really like them long term. I like them more than most of the charging stocks. I've been looking at some quick charging companies, but yeah, I like them a lot. I haven't added more, but if you're looking to get into this one, it might be a good time. I mean, I don't know how high it's going to go after the merger. It depends on the general market in general too, if people start pulling out money. But if it falls much lower, I'll probably add. I don't know what that level is yet though, because if it falls and the rest of the market falls, it's different than if just Switchback falls. Now, let's take a look at Tesla. I have to remember which ones these are in. Tesla's in around 700. I think this is another one. If you're looking long term, I think it's a good value, but you have to realize too, this one's higher risk than Switchback. In my opinion, like it could fall another 30, 40, 50% if there is some kind of market sell-off, because that would still be, if it fell 50%, it would still be like 2000 pre-split. And some people, pre-split is getting further and further in the past here. But yeah, that one's a little bit higher risk. Now the other one is NIO. I think that one, I don't have it on a list here, but I think that one was sitting around 48 last time I checked. I'll just pull it up here on my phone. That one too is 48, 49. It's fallen good amount today, 6%. That one's getting attractive again too. I'm just cautious too about putting too much money into the auto market, just because a lot of money is flowing there over the last year. But I understand that some of these companies are game-changing companies, especially like Tesla, where they have so much going for them outside of that sector. So that's something that I would consider. But yeah, I think this could be interesting. It's tough seeing dips like this, like innovative industrial properties falling 20%. Let's pull that one up. IIPR seeking alpha. I have been investing in this one since it was $70 a share. I want to go up to the dividends. They're medical marijuana play, or a marijuana play. I can actually say that on this channel because I'm not monetized. But yeah, they're a REIT, and I've been buying them for a while now. They do triple net leases. Okay. Let's see. They do triple net leases, and they allow you to get dividends on a medical marijuana play. So I like it. I like the fact that they pay dividends. It's also got some exposure to the marijuana sector. They were paying a very high dividend before. I don't know what they're paying now. That's what I'm trying to pull up here. But yeah, they're paying 2%, 2.25%. So not as attractive as it was before. But it's not bad either. So I don't mind where the market's going overall. I mean, I know it's tough when you see big drops like today because it's scary, but unless you're retiring before the market recovers, I mean, it could be like in the next 3 days that recovers. It could be months, who knows? But unless you're retiring before then, or unless you pull out your money at the wrong time, it doesn't matter, right? The market's bound to recover. Of course, some stocks won't recover the same as others and stuff like that. So that's where I think most of the fear comes in. Now, I just had a price alert come up on my phone. GH, the Matterport SPAC, I'm just going to call it that, is down a decent amount right now. It's down to under 18. I've been eyeing it for a while. I don't know. I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to make a decision on screen. I know Meet Kevin does that all the time. It's looking good, though. I like Matterport long term. I've been looking at it since they announced. I think maybe it was 3 weeks ago or something like that. I've been looking at it. Man, I want to get into it, so I might have to pick up some shares. That's one that I could actually put in my taxable account too, because I'll be holding it for a long time. Okay, I missed some here, so I have to scroll back a little bit. Is it a good idea to start buying value stocks right now? So I guess it depends on what you're looking at, because they're all different. But let's assume you can get something that's a good value, like an actual good business model. I don't really like AMC. I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I still hold one share just to be part of it, but I don't like their business model that much, just because I don't envision like people. I don't know. I think there's something to be said for going to a movie theater, but I think I don't know. I can't even get a hold of my words here. I don't think I would be that likely to go out to AMC and spend $50 to see a movie as opposed to sitting at home and watching it. Now, that's just me. I think they're overpriced. Maybe they change up what they're going to do, but I don't know. I don't like the business model that much. But some other recovery plays like cruise lines and stuff like that, maybe. I mean, you're taking a little bit of a risk, but I think you have to if you want to get in before it pushes up a lot. So it might be a good time. Can I please keep CCIV? Yeah, you can you can do whatever you want. I can't tell you guys what to do or anything like that because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm holding on to my shares of CCIV. I think it's something where as soon as there's some actual good news, like a prototype or a vehicle on the road or anything like that, I think it's going to be big. I know that their Model 3 competitor isn't coming out for years, but this might be something where, and I'm not making a price prediction or anything like this, but it might be something that doesn't move for a while and then all of a sudden it doubles like in a couple of weeks. Who knows? I mean, people were crazy about CCIV before they merged. It was just a valuation thing. But if they're actually able to do well in the future, I think it could be big. A lot of people are saying that it's the next best option next to Tesla. Well, do I think SBE will go down post merger? Others saying it'll go up, so not sure. I don't know. So it's hard to tell with these SPACs. I think a lot of the time they pump up on merger. At least that's what I've seen. Um, so if you're, I think it's a mix, right? You have to be careful because it's really easy to get excited and throw money in without thinking and then lose a little bit. But it's also easy to try to be greedy, like maybe me on Matterport, right? You're trying to get a couple pennies extra and then ends up being like a company that you actually really want to hold, but you were just thinking short term and you weren't willing to pay a couple pennies extra. My view has always been, if it's a company that I like so much, and it's hard to gauge, right? It's hard to gauge this, but if it's a company I like so much, I think it could double within the next 3, 4, 5 years. And I know we're getting to a different level where we see stocks double in a few weeks, and it's normal. But if I could see it doubling, and I think that it's a very high conviction play, I try not to be greedy because in the long term, I'd much rather have money in it and waste a couple pennies than miss out on it. Okay, what else do we have? Did you have an idea about OZSC? I haven't looked into that one too deeply. I know some people have been reaching out about it. It's just been a very busy time with some of these earnings March 1st. Yeah, so could be good, could be bad. Who knows? Like Teladoc beat on revenue and lost on earnings per share. Now it's down significantly. Nitesh says down big on AGTC, ACIC, and time. Is it high risk or average down? So time is high risk. AGTC is, I think, less high risk, but still high risk. ACIC is high risk for a SPAC, but it's not a penny stock, so it's a little bit different. But I think all of the, like ACIC, I hold all those still. I'll just be honest. I think I might have added to AGTC. I told you guys if I did, but all the other ones, and maybe ACIC too. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on, a lot of things I'm adding, so I can't remember off the top of my head if I added to them after I bought them originally. But yeah, those are all kind of high risk plays. I mean, they're all companies that are banking on different catalysts like trials or just being able to produce something, right? Like with ACIC. But I think there's potential in all of them. I'm still holding them. That's why I think, like, I don't know, maybe I'm too diversified. But with some of these plays that are so high risk, like some of these companies are looking 5 years out before they have revenue. Like, who knows? Who knows if ACIC and SPCE and all these other space stocks actually have a product and actually do well? I don't know. But that's why I kind of diversify across a number of them, which I realize kind of limits upside, but I don't mind that too much because we've been doing well overall, even with a lot of diversification. With the exception of the last few days, everyone I think has been hurting unless you went to recovery stocks like 2 weeks ago. But I haven't really looked into AGTC and ACIC this week either. I've seen the price going down, but everything else has too. Man, I'm like 15 minutes behind on the comments. Okay, what are my thoughts on Mara and CLSK? I haven't looked into Mara really deeply since the first time I looked at it. CLSK is still the same thing, right? It's still trading at a bit of a discount, I think, compared to the other Bitcoin miners because of the lawsuit that's going on. Palantir at 24. Okay. So I need to pull these back up a second. Let's look at GHVI. So that one's sitting around right at 18 now. Teladoc's down 9.25% down to 230. RAAC is also down to 12. We just bonded that one yesterday. So it's down a decent amount. What else is down? Seems like everything is down. Yeah, Palantir's down under 25. Okay. So I don't think I kind of gave my opinion on this yet, but I've told some people, I've been averaging down on some of these stocks. Like, I mean, I just have a lot of positions in general, so I can't do it with everyone. But yeah, I've been averaging down on some of them, but I don't want to throw all my cash in. Like, I don't want to throw it all into Palantir today or all into SBE or Teladoc or anything like that. I'm putting like a little bit of cash in there all the time. Like earlier, I talked about the extra cash that I have on the side, but the cash that I have just sitting in my accounts, I probably have maybe 4,000 or something like that in cash between all my different accounts. And I'm putting in maybe like $400 a day into different stocks that I see opportunities in, because if it keeps on falling down, I want to be able to keep on putting money into it. So yeah, if something comes up and it's like, okay, Palantir just hit $16 and there's no reason for it, or Teladoc hits under 200 or something like that, I'm going to probably put in a lot more if there's something that's really good. Pace could be good long-term. Nerdy is a good concept, especially as students need to catch up. Yeah, I think so. I think it could be good long-term. I'm just looking more short-term on it. But yeah, I think a lot of those companies though have been getting a push because of COVID. But yeah, I think it could be good long-term. I mean, they're growing pretty quickly. Okay, I need to go further down to the bottom because I'm so far back. Workhorse. So I have not invested in Workhorse. I sold out of Workhorse months ago. I told everyone about it. I got a lot of flack for it at the time because I sold out of Workhorse because USPS pushed off their announcement. If you have shares of Workhorse, I guess it's up to you whether you want to have that money locked up in Workhorse for a while. Just remember, it was a $2 or $3 stock last year before people really caught hold of the whole USPS contract. I mean, they've gotten contracts since then, but they haven't really delivered many vehicles. So it's going to be important to look at their next earnings report, I think. And I don't know when that is off the top of my head. I might be checking in on it, but it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens with that, if they actually have been able to deliver a good amount of vehicles. When will the market rebound? Can I guess? Yeah, I mean, I can guess, but I don't know how good that will be. I think it's hard to know, right? Because we're seeing a nice dip. I think a lot of people will try to buy in. I think I've been hearing about a lot of people buying dips. So I don't think there's that much fear really. Like I see it more like September than last March. I heard someone else saying that too, and I totally agree. I don't think there's a lot of fear right now. I mean, there's fear that the market's going down, but there's no catalyst really behind it, except for people think interest rates might go up, but the Fed has kept on saying, no, we're keeping them low for a while. So that's kind of my thought on that one. Now, let's see what else is low. Teladoc low. Someone said plug, but I don't know. I don't have plug on anything. So plug's down 10%. Yeah. That one's been lower even this week, though. Let's see what else. Is it a good idea to pivot some position on NNDM at this time? That's a good question, because that stock that I'm talking about today, I think is more, I shouldn't say more promising, but it's already got more of a proof of concept. They already have big clients. I've never really, I mean, I've covered NNDM a lot, but I've been clear that I haven't bought it at all. You hope CCIV is not another Nikola. Yeah, so I wouldn't draw those as a comparison because Nikola misled shareholders. I mean, some people might say that about CCIV, but I don't think they did necessarily. I mean, there were things that came out that CCIV was going to take Lucid public at a certain valuation, and then it was higher, or they brought PIPE investors in. So I guess you could maybe make a claim for that, but I think it's different. I think that Lucid probably came back to them and said, we need more cash. And then they did it. So I don't think it's to the same level as rolling down a vehicle down the hill and then saying that it was, moving by itself. I think it's totally different. But yeah, I hope it is too, but I don't think it's the same thing. Buy more sends? ? Maybe. I mean, if you haven't had sends, I'm not buying more sends. I like sends just as much as I did before, but there's a lot of stuff falling. So like I said right at the beginning. I'm not really looking to add a lot to penny stocks just because it's extra exposure into the penny stock market. And that's a very volatile market. And in a very volatile time, I don't know if I really want a lot more exposure to it. But I could miss out too. I realize that it's always risk reward that you have to weigh. Do you think that US-based chip semiconductor companies will be a better investment than a foreign company? I haven't really looked at any foreign chip makers. I'll be honest. So I'm not probably the best person to ask about that. Why don't I like the other Chamath-backed SPAC RMBG or RMGB? You don't invest in foreign companies. So RMGB, let me pull that up. So I have not looked into this one so much. So this one was just announced yesterday. I haven't looked too deeply on it. I heard that it wasn't that exciting from someone. So yeah, I haven't looked into it as deeply as the other one. Something that I probably should do though at some point. It's in around $11, so it's not very expensive. Where's Sen's going? But where's Sen's going in my opinion? It's hard to tell, right? I mean, I like the company, so eventually, if the company keeps doing well, the share price should go up eventually. It's just a question of when. So a lot of people are talking about Sens. Let's take a look at Sens. I don't know what it's at right now off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, it's down like the rest of the market, 9%. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. A lot of the market is down that right now. Let's just take a look at some of the other penny stocks. Yeah, Sens is down that much. RAAC, that's not penny stock, but it's down 8%. STPK down 8%. BNGO down 8%. Pretty much all of biotech is down, it looks like. And then a lot of these speculative SPAC stocks are down too. Even some other stocks like DMTK, which isn't a penny stock, but it's biotech. I guess it's biotech, is down 5%. Yeah, a lot of the market's down 5%. So, hey, new to this channel, appreciate you joining. This is the second channel. My main channel's down below, or maybe it isn't because I added it from. I copy and pasted it from my main channel. So my main channel is just my financial friend. If you want to check that one out. Also new to the stock market and everything, trying to learn. Yeah, it's tough, right? When you're new and there's a lot of red. Li Auto. So let's pull Li Auto up. Li Auto turns lower despite earnings surprise. Yeah, so I knew that they announced earnings. I haven't read through it too much yet, though. I've been doing that. I've been making that video for a good part of the day. Deliveries were 15,000. Quarterly gross margin reached 17.5%. Total revenues 1.5 billion or 1.45 billion. Full year deliveries 32,000. Let's see. So Q1 they had deliveries of 2,900. Q2 they had 66. Q3 86. Q4 14. So they almost doubled. I mean, not almost. I guess they got like 70% or something. I don't know off the top of my head. That's pretty good. That's a good growth. Let's pull up what they're actually worth right now. I haven't bought Li Auto. I looked at it months ago. I looked at it to buy, but I haven't bought I haven't looked at it recently like that. So market cap's 24. I don't have a comparison between them and Neo, but this is about the lowest we've seen. Last week, no, Tuesday this week, it was down to 25. Besides that, though, we haven't seen prices like this since November. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I think there's just a lot of money flowing out of it now, though. So, I mean, maybe a good long-term play if you're looking to get into the Chinese auto market. Thoughts on ARK-K? I like it. I hold it. All the indexes are down 2%. Yeah. So anytime the indexes are down 2%, yeah, it seems like the SPACs, biotech are down 5 to 10%. But on the opposite side, it's true too. Just logged on. Did I sell COUV? No, I have not sold COUV. So I haven't been able to. But even if I was able to, because I called Fidelity and they said that they don't support it right now, they're trying to uplist still. So hopefully it gets back on. But yeah, I probably wouldn't sell anyways because they're at 20 cents. At this point, might as well hold because it's worth just a fraction of what we paid for it. Do you think if I watch your streams regularly, it will help me be prepared before I start investing? Yeah, so I hope so. I mean, so I don't stream that often, honestly. Uh, I I think getting to know the market before you invest in it is really good. I think kind of understanding how it works before you start throwing money around is probably smart. I think it's going to be different though when you actually do put money into it. I think if you start watching this, it's going to be hard not to start investing unless you're literally not able to because you'll want to. Um, but yeah, I mean, I started learning about finance way before I started investing, and I was really interested in it. And I wasn't when I started investing, I was not investing near as much as I am now in terms of like number of dollars. So I think it's important to start learning about it before you probably have a lot of money to throw around because you don't want to make stupid decisions. Like I don't know, some people are just putting a lot of money in penny stocks, and I'm always cautious against that. Like I make a lot of videos on penny stocks, but I am pretty clear that it's like less than 1% of my portfolio when I add to them. And some people are willing to take the risk, but I think some people just don't realize how risky that is. So I would be careful of stuff like that. Uh, OCGN results come out in 2 months. What do I think? I haven't looked into that one. Or if I have, I don't remember it. If you buy house in cash now is not a good idea. Interest is down and price is high. Yeah, so I realize that, but I don't really have another option. I mean, I could rent or something like that, but I don't have the option to get a mortgage yet. I will get a mortgage next year at this time because I'll have 2 years tax returns, and I'll be able to qualify more than easily enough for it. But yeah, I need to if I want to buy a house. So that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, there's some different ways to try to get some other people on the mortgage with me, like my parents or something like that. But I don't know if I really want to do that. So I realize that it takes away a lot of cash at a time when housing prices are high, but it's something that I'm gonna have to decide on. Have I heard about Gig merging with Lightning Esports? Um, Yeah, I've heard about it. Something that I know a lot of people have talked about. It's something that I should probably look deeper into also. Surprised to see RAAC falling 8% today. Yeah, I agree. I would have thought they would have fallen less. I would still expect it to fall on a day like today because there is so much red. I mean, like the one thing that I have on this list that's green is NAT. I'm not invested in NAT, but I'm just looking at one of my watch lists, and I still had it from months ago on there. Of course, there's CCIV and MP Materials and AMC, but a lot of the market is red. So I would have expected it to be a little bit red, like maybe 3-4%, but not 8% at the price that it's at. But I like it kind of long term. I think it's something that is really useful. So, I mean, you always have to go back and forth between what's happening and what's market sentiment and what's the long-term outlook for some of these companies. Like some of them we invest in because like GXU, the company that I looked at today that I bought, they haven't announced who they're merging with. That's a gamble, right? that's a gamble that they've done well in the past on mergers, that it's a low price. And again, like, we don't even know the valuation, but it's a low price based on where SPACs can go. And I'm willing to take the bet. But if you're looking at fundamentals, that's not a smart play because I have no idea what I'm going to get out of it. But that's kind of a risk reward that I'm willing to take at this point. But yeah, something like RAAC, I see more as a long-term play. I mean, who knows if it goes up or if I need cash or something, I could always trim. But the business is there, right? It's a business that actually does something pretty well, sounds like. Okay. SPAC. OZSC announced Tesla engineer joining the company, could be huge help for Tesla. Okay. Zame says, I'm very interested but lost at the same time. Where to start, what app to use? There's so many options. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, so that's something that's difficult. There are a lot of different apps to use. There are a lot of different ways to invest. I mean, you're doing something or you're starting something that people spend their whole life trying to figure out. So there's a lot to start with. I would just start with some broker that you feel comfortable with, that allows you to invest in fractional shares, and that allows you to, I don't know. You could try to start with something like M1 Finance, where you can only invest one time a day. So that way you're not trying to get in and out of stocks real quick. Because honestly, at the beginning, I would just be looking for good, like, longer term stocks or swing trade stocks. I wouldn't try to day trade at all. And yeah, I would probably look at long term stocks, honestly, to start, just to get a feel for it. So I personally use WeBull, M1 Finance, and Fidelity. I think any of those are fine. If you want a bonus, you could go with WeBull. If you want to just get some other stuff, you don't get bonuses really for M1 Finance or for Fidelity. You can start with one of those. There are links down below if you want them. Based on the market, where would you put $5,000? 3 stocks. And you know that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial friend. I love it. Okay, let me pull up the market here so I can really take a look. I guess it depends on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for something long-term, it's going to be different. And no, I should be saying, if you're looking for something that's high risk or lower risk, I think Teladoc is at an interesting level right now where it is at 230, because I think it is something that could be easily a $100 billion, $200 billion company 10 years from now. I think they're really leading the market, and I don't have all the numbers in front of me, so hopefully I'm on the right track here. But I believe it was around $38 billion yesterday in market cap when I looked at it. Let me pull it up here just so that I can see for sure. But I think it's an attractive risk reward right now where it's sitting at. Yeah, so it's $33 billion now, $34 billion. They have increasing revenue. Yeah, I like Teladoc for the risk reward. I like Disney for the risk reward. That one isn't really down at all. If I had $5,000, I probably wouldn't be investing too much in penny stocks, especially if I could only have 3 stocks. What else? Probably Disney, Teladoc, maybe. I was going to say maybe Clean Spark because of the exposure to Bitcoin, but honestly, the risk would be too high if I only had 3 stocks, I think. So I hold CLSK, but I realize that it's a high risk play. Yeah, I'll have to think about the last one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Maybe some kind of SPAC play that's at a low valuation or a low price. Okay. What else? Sorry, I'm stuck a little bit behind still. Bartos says hello. Hi, Bartos. What do I think about ESETSX market? I'm not sure. That is really too much. Tush says, avid fan, appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for all the details that you cover. Excited about your plans to own a home. Best wishes. Thank you. I appreciate that. GME moving hard to the upside. Interesting. Let's take a look. GME is now up 70% on the day. Yeah. Just over the last couple minutes, it went from 140 up to 156. So anyone that's looking at getting into that, I know some people will probably ask like what I'm gonna do with it. I'm not gonna invest in those. I don't want to be caught as a bag holder like some of the people were last time. I'm just cautious about that. But I realize that I could be missing out, but I'm not willing to take that risk. Jeffrey, individual stocks or ARK ETF or Roth IRA? I guess it depends on how active you want to be in there. If you want to just buy it and maybe you don't have that much money, and it's not worth your time. Like if you had $1,000, let's say, and you got $20 an hour, that I don't know if it would be really worth the time to spend like trying to research different stocks. At that point, it's probably worth a lot more just trying to get a couple extra hours of work or trying to make some extra money on the side or something. Just because the amount that you're going to be able to beat them, even if you do a good job, probably isn't worth the time unless you just really like it. Yeah. So, and with Roth IRAs, you have a max limit anyways. Let's say it was your first year. I would probably be doing a mix or something like that. But also it's just higher risk if you invest in individual stocks too. Okay. Holding 81 stocks with half of them being penny stocks. I'm down 10%. Yeah, that's tough. Having 40 penny stocks is a lot of penny stocks. I have 5 to 10, and I think that's too many for me. It's harder to get information on. It's great on green days, but I think holding 81 stocks is a lot too. Unless you're holding a bunch of stocks that you just don't have to look at. Like I get a lot of flack because I buy a lot of stocks, but I'm trading some of them. So some of them are lower risk SPACs too that I get at low dollar amounts, so I don't really have to pay attention to them too much. I think that's a little bit high, honestly. I think that's going to be hard to keep track of, especially if you're someone like that's hard for me with no day job besides this, right? So I can look at things all day long, but if you have a day job, if you're a student or something like that, that's going to be tough. Can I explain what a penny stock is? So it's generally considered a stock that's under $5, the share price. But a lot of the time, these stocks also are small market cap. So the total amount of shares times what the shares are worth is pretty low. So the value of the company is pretty low, and they're higher risk typically than another stock like Apple or Facebook or something. Okay. Do I agree that the investment in Bitcoin or Bitcoin miners is a good approach in 2021? Yes. So I've bought 10 to $13,000 worth of Bitcoin over the last couple months. It's hard to know exactly because it's fluctuated in price when I bought it at different times. But I think I put in 10,000 over the last 2 months. I like it. Just realize that it is high risk. I mean, some people say it's not high risk, but it's different than a stock where it actually gives you earnings or return like that. So I like it though over the long term. I think a lot of companies are probably buying in this quarter after Tesla bought in. I just saw Square the other day bought another $170 million worth of Bitcoin. So I've been buying both Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin over the last couple months. There is a link down there to BlockFi if you guys want it. They do pay you a really high interest rate on some of your cryptocurrencies. Joe says thoughts on COUV. So I know you're late to the stream, you say, but you can scroll back on the bottom and look earlier. But Basically, I'm holding. Okay. Okay, trying again. When I start with your channel, I got feeling you put more effort into research of stock, and I really appreciate. But recently, I feel there's more sponsored videos. So Bartos, yeah, there are a couple sponsored videos. I always try to make it like glaringly clear with the videos. I mean, there's a little pop up in the bottom corner. There's something in the description. I say it in the videos too. I do those once every 2 or 3 weeks. I do one, and I have probably 20 to 30 videos in between at least. So I understand some people don't like that, but in the end, I've asked the community kind of too, and they said, definitely go for it. So, I realize that some people won't like it. Some people say definitely go for it. You definitely should do it. So, you know, okay. Cryptocurrency website you use warrants. Even CLSK sometimes feel like too big push on it. So I use BlockFi, and then CLSK I buy through the brokers. When should we panic and sell all positions? I don't panic and sell all positions. I'd rather hold on to. I don't I don't ever. I haven't ever. I shouldn't say I never will, but I don't think I'll ever panic and sell all positions. The problem with that is you have to be right on the time that you sell it, and then you also have to be right when you buy it back. So you have to be right multiple times. And a lot of people aren't right. There's also taxable implications to that. I don't want to get into that because I'm not an advisor or anything like that. But let's say you made, I guess I will get into it because I was just about to. Let's say everything was in a brokerage account instead of a Roth IRA or a 401k or something. If you made, let's say you had $10,000 in there, you put $10,000 in, you grew it to 20K, it went down to 18K, and then you sold all of it, you'd have an $8,000 taxable event, especially if it's short term, that could be taxed at a higher rate. So if you're someone that makes a good amount of money, you're taxed at a very high rate compared to if you held it for a year. But I mean, it depends. You have to weigh all that out. Okay. Hi, Sam. If a company is trying to acquire a contract or there's an announcement, how does everyone know so fast when the decision is made? The news. Uh, so I'm guessing you're just asking like how does the stock price jump so quickly so soon? Uh, it's because, in my opinion, there are a lot of people that are really well connected, and they get they get alerts. So some people, a lot of hedge funds probably hear about it, a lot of big money probably hear about it. Like I know some people that have big money, like just from Patreon and stuff, and they hear about stuff that I never hear about, or that they hear about stuff much earlier because they're really well connected and they hear whispers about different things. So I'm guessing that's what it is. I'm guessing some people are well connected or get alerts or have automatic sells or have bots or, a bunch of different stuff. Okay. I'm from Pakistan, and there are people really promoting Bitcoin here, even though the government is not interested in promoting it here. Yeah. So different governments handle it differently. What country was it? Some country just allowed it. I want to say to pay the government or something like that. Also, I think some county in Miami is allowing it to be paid for like property taxes or something, and they're paying part of the and they are willing to pay part of their income to their employees in Bitcoin or something crazy like that. I mean, maybe it's not crazy, but it's different than what people are used to. Does FAII Spec still have things going for it? I haven't looked into the company too much. Since they announced I sold it. Tish says, I have no issues with sponsored videos. You're honest in letting us know, and I also trust that you will provide your honest analysis. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. They don't tell me what to say or anything, so I appreciate you saying that. What do you think about ESE? Yeah, so I don't talk about gaming or esports too much. I haven't looked into ESE too much, but I think gaming just in general is a growing sector. I don't know. Every time that I see some gaming stock, it's already gone up a ton, which I should be more mature than that and just like discounting it. But I mean, I'm not against it or anything. I feel like I had one gaming stock at some point, but I don't remember what it was. I could be wrong on that too. Yeah, I don't think I've had one. Pablo, been following you for a year and just joined the Patreon. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you joining that. In case you guys are interested, there's the link down below to the Patreon. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's important on days or weeks like this week where there's a lot of red, and then it's also important on the green week. So I think either way, there's a case to be made for that kind of stuff because a lot of people are newer investors. A lot of people in there are also really experienced investors too. So, yeah, it's tough on the red weeks, but it's important to have other people around you, especially if you can dial into who you should really be listening to see like, hopefully there aren't too many people yelling that they're panic selling or something, but just having other people around you that are invested is good. Do you think there's a money rotation to value stocks? Yeah, so I think there's a money rotation. I mean, there has been for a couple weeks now, but let's say everything opens up. I don't know if people will like just plow money into those again because a lot of these stocks are, I don't know. I mean, after they get back up to value, they're just value stocks, right? They're not going to grow that quickly anyway. So yeah, maybe there's a money rotation now. I think there is, but eventually I'd rather be in growth stocks anyways. Market is selling off. Ooh, let's take a look. I'm just gonna I'll pull up my phone here. Teladoc now down 11%. Okay, getting to more interesting levels still. RAAC is down almost 9%. GHVI is down to under 18. Palantir down near 24. TPG Pace still around the same amount. Okay, Neo down to 48. What else? IIPR still down 20%. FRSX down 11%. STPK down 10%. DMTK, Tesla. Yeah, a lot of stuff is down. Honestly, I know it hurts to see, but I don't mind it. I'd love to see some more deals. Long term, it's only good for us as long as you're not selling stuff at the wrong time or selling because you're scared or anything like that. I'm 80% liquidated out of stocks. Yeah, I mean, if you time it right, it's good. Yeah, you say you're waiting for things to cool off. Until then, I only day trade. Got it. Yeah, I mean, if you can do that well, great. There aren't too many people, I think, that that can time it right, but if you can do it, great. Chris says, honestly, sponsored videos shouldn't bug people. Most YouTubers do it once they have a semblance of a following. I appreciate that. How much money have you dropped in the last week? So I'm guessing you mean how much is my portfolio dropped? So I have it across so many different brokers. I have it across 3. Let me pull up just WeBull. I've dropped about 20. Is that right? 20% in a week? Yeah, that sounds probably about right because CCIV dropped so much. What else has dropped? My other portfolio probably dropped about 10%. Yeah, so I probably dropped let's see. I have 20% of my portfolio in individual stocks in Webull, 20% in individual stocks in Fidelity. My portfolio is down a lot today in Fidelity too. Yeah, I probably lost 10% or something like that. 10 to 15. A lot of my money is in index funds too. Well, not a lot of it, probably like 30 to 40%. is probably in index funds. And then I have some longer term plays in M1 Finance too that I have another like 20% in. Why shouldn't you get some of the pie? Yeah. Sen's dropping real hard now. Would I buy more? Honestly, I mean, I haven't bought more since it was $1.50. So if it keeps on falling, maybe. But yeah, it's still down 12%. I'm gonna have to see some more drops before I jump back in because I'm still up like over 100% in it. But I guess if you're saying, would I buy more if I was someone else? Possibly. Like if I've been waiting to get in, I probably would start dollar cost averaging in. How do I track stocks? I I have WeBull and I always look at them. I have different watch lists on there. And then this sounds stupid, but I just started putting alerts on different stocks so that alerts me when they drop so much. Are there other Patreon channels like yours that you recommend? I'm not really part of too many other ones. I shouldn't say that. I'm part of Jack Spencer's and Tyler Hill's just because we're buddies and they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be in there. So I don't really look at them too much. One that I have started to pay attention to more and that I'm in because I know the person that runs it too is the SPAC investor. And he's really good with SPACs. He gives text alerts too if you want and stuff like that. I'm going to give him a shout out at some point on my main channel. But yeah, I mean, if you want another channel too, I'm using him. So he's helping me on some of the SPAC information too. So I get alerts before some other people. So I'm using his channel. He knows it. I'm using his Patreon to help mine too. You think the market will fall tomorrow too because of GME and AMC? I don't know if there's a connection between those, but maybe. Okay, relationship of gold plus BTC minus gold miners go down, BTC miners go up. Are they connected? I don't think so necessarily. I think probably what's happening is Bitcoin seems to be tied a little bit to the general stock market. I mean, there are people that have been holding Bitcoin for a long time that probably will never sell. But there are also people that are getting in, obviously, at 20, 30, 40, 50K, and they're selling out at certain points. And a lot of people turn to gold at the same time that they turn away from stock. So generally, if there's some drop in the market, a lot of the time the gold goes up. At least that's the general premise. So Bitcoin goes down because the market goes down, and then people throw it into gold. So I'm guessing that's what it is, but I could be wrong too. Ambar says you're down 18K in a week. Yeah, it's tough. Agar says 8K. Just remember, if you can average some more in there, it's probably good long term. When will the hell? When the hell will the hell week finish? Well, this is gonna be a smartass comment. Friday, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know when the market will stop falling. I mean, I was gonna say hopefully soon. I'm always stuck between I wish the market would stop falling and I wish it would fall a lot harder. Honestly, long term, I'd rather the market goes down 90%. I mean, that's easy to say, right? But I would love it if the market fell another 50% because it will recover eventually. As long as you don't sell, that's great. I would love to throw some more money into the market. Have I heard about CYDY? No, I haven't heard about them really. Do you use USD currency? Will go down compared to other currency? Yeah, I use USD. I mean, I'm here in the US, so yeah, I just keep all my cash in a bank account or in BlockFi too, in their stable coin. I have a significant amount in their stable coin now too, just for the interest. Do I think pace will ever go back up to 12? Yeah, so it can go down below 10. But you can you can call your broker and get 10. So yeah, sometimes they still fall below, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for people to have it drop much lower. But pre-SPAC, I think it could. I mean, if we just see a general market uptrend, it could go up. So yeah, I think it could. I don't know if it will, but yeah, I mean, I think it could. What do you do when you're down on every single stock? Then you got no money to average down. Wait it out. So I mean, the only other option is to sell. But again, like I said earlier, you have to be right on the way down and the way up. So hopefully, like if you have a job or something, hopefully you can put more money in eventually. But yeah, if you had like, let's say you had a bunch of money sitting on the sidelines for a long time, and then you put all your money in, or you just started investing and you put in a significant amount, and then you realize, okay, maybe you have $200 a week to invest and you just put in 15K or something. Yeah, that's going to hurt, but long term, it should average back out. Thoughts on TRCH, please? I haven't looked into that one. I'll be honest. Let me see if it's something. What was that ticker again? TRCH. And guys, we'll probably go for a couple more minutes, but then I'll probably have to cut it off. I have a video coming out. Torchlight Energy Resources. Yeah, I haven't looked into this one. People also look for oxygen or oxygen. Oh, it's a high growth oil and gas exploration. I'm not too interested in those, I'll be honest, but I mean, there's value if it's priced low enough. Please don't say the market will fall 50% more. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying if it did, there'd be a lot of room for people to put money in and make a lot of money long term. Like I've said it before, so many people don't want to buy in when the market's going up. So many people say, "Oh, I wish this stock would come down or something." But then when the whole market falls, everyone, like a lot of people, are scared. So that's where you have to keep some money on the sidelines. I did that video a couple weeks ago on the main channel talking about is there going to be a stock market crash? And so many people gave me a hard time. Like I got more dislikes on that than any other video I think I've ever done. And all I was saying was to keep some cash because you never know when the market's going to crash or correct or whatever you want to call it, because they are actually different. But you want to keep some money on the sidelines and stuff. But everyone gives you a hard time when that happens. And everyone says it won't fall. And everyone says that they would like it to fall. And then once it does, people don't like it. So I don't know. It's a tough thing to, I mean, as someone that's just on YouTube, like no matter what I say, someone will dislike it. So do I think CLSK is manipulated? I mean, I think probably it's a small enough market cap. And with the lawsuits, maybe. I think a lot of the time with these short reports, they're literally trying to manipulate the stock down to make money. So possibly. What kind of tools do I use for investing besides WeBull? So I use Seeking Alpha a lot just to look at different metrics, different things from their income statement. I look at investor presentations a lot. I look at stock twits to see general market sentiment and to see comments on what's happening with certain stocks if they drop very quickly. Those are probably the main things. And then I use YouTube a lot too, like just bouncing off other people's information and not having to do all the information myself. But then I go verify it too afterwards. I just like it's hard enough just trying to find everything in the first place. So I'd rather listen to someone else talk about it. And if it seems interesting, then I'll go do more research on it. But I don't want to there are just so many stocks. It's easier to listen to someone on YouTube a lot of the time if you hear about something first. Most of the stocks go down, up and down at the same moment. Is that coincidence? I mean, I don't think it's coincidence. I think it's a lot of people selling off of a lot of positions or, probably hedge funds and other big money selling out of different things at the same time. When will CCIV turn into Lucid stock? I don't know. I don't know if they've announced when that date will be. Usually they announce like a meeting or something like that, and then it will be announced later. It's probably going to be a couple months. What do I think about SAMP? I haven't looked into that one too much. Check PRCH. Okay, I'll pull that one up real quick. Porch Group. Software company. Gotcha. Every stock you have in your portfolio is down. Yeah, most stocks in my portfolio are down too. Not everyone, but have I looked into BitF? Yeah, I saw my brother-in-law covered it. I'll send your regards to him. Yeah, I saw he covered it, but I haven't looked into it too deeply. I haven't seen him actually in a couple weeks, probably like 2 weeks. But I wanted to ask him about it. I just didn't want to do all the research before. I wanted to get it from him to hear what he said. I think I watched a video, but I kind of forgot about it a little bit. That's just the fear emotion talking. You give pretty sound opinions. Appreciate it. I don't know what that was in regards to. Probably the stock market sell off and everything. May I please know thoughts on COUV? I looked at Clover a while ago. I actually held it at some point, but then I sold it. I might have to look more into it though and pay attention to the earnings. Yeah, people don't like the messenger when it comes to bad news. True. Or what they perceive as bad news. Like if the market, there's a difference between the market V-shape recovering and you being able to buy in, and if it stayed down for like 5 years. Like if it stayed down for 5 years, that's not good. But if it drops and it's anything like last year, that'd be awesome for a lot of people that can buy in, assuming you're not someone that panic sells. So yeah, I agree with you. People don't like what they think is bad news. What are my thoughts on UWM? Yeah, that's another one that I haven't looked into too much recently. I apologize, but I just haven't looked into it too much because I sold it and haven't bought it back. Am I holding LFMW? Yeah, so let me pull that up here. Or LFMD, sorry. Yeah, so I'm still holding that one. I got thrown off a lot the other day when it switched from Conversion Labs. I I had just woken up and I saw that it was in my broker, and I get like bonus stocks all the time, and I sold it right away. I'm like, oh, I don't know why I have so much of this, and I sold it, and then I realized that I didn't realize the ticker was changing that day, and then I bought it right back. So yeah, it might be a good time to average down. I think it's valued less than a lot of the other companies. Thoughts on SFTW? I like it a lot. I've been averaging down over the last couple weeks since I bought it the first time, or over the last week or whatever it was. We're living in Black Weeks now, only Black Fridays. Yeah, it's been down a lot. Have I heard about Kahoot? Yeah, I have. I have heard about them. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this helped a little bit. I mean, I know there's a lot of red. I know it's scary, especially if you haven't been through it before. It like the whole red market is like, I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. It's a good thing if you were smart about how you constructed your portfolio. And I don't want to like strike fear in anyone, but if you're someone that weighed the risk rewards of different stocks, if you if you bought into stocks that you thought were actually good companies, as opposed to something that was just hyped up and threw money at something, or bought a bunch of options, or, just high risk plays, if you kind of manage that, it's probably going to be good for you over the long term. Of course, if you can add more money to it, that's great. I'm just averaging down in some different positions, but I'm trying not to be too aggressive in that either, because either it keeps on falling and I can get in at lower prices, or it goes back up and then I didn't really miss out too much. It's just I could have thrown some more money in it. So I'm throwing a little bit of money in it as time goes on. So I appreciate it. I'm going to come out with a video here on the main channel on that stock that I talked about earlier today. That's a competitor to NNDM. If you guys want to check that out, I appreciate it. Otherwise, there are links down there if you guys want, like we talked about BlockFi and WeBull and stuff. I appreciate that too. And thanks. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.